morning, everyone. I hope this finds you well and living your best life in Jesus Christ. As I was watching Landry play the other day, I was struck by how creative he is. There's always been something I find amazing about the creativity of children. They see a world with endless possibilities. I often think that their way of looking at the world is an echo of the way our Creator looks at things. I mean, think about it. He's the ultimate creator, and any creativity and imagination we have is but a faint echo of our glorious Creator. Where we often see chaos, He sees endless possibilities. Anyway, as I was watching Landry, I was reminded of when my son Kevin was about the same age and discovered the wonderful world of Legos. Landry has not yet become enamored with these little plastic blocks, but I'm pretty sure that it's only a matter of time. Kevin loved Legos. I remember when he would build these marvelous structures containing hundreds of pieces, which he would display for a while and then, for whatever reason, tear apart and create something else. Even as he grew older, he never seemed to lose his fascination with the possibilities of a big bin full of Legos. I was not as fond of Legos as Kevin because I was the one who had to pick them up off the floor, and I still have vivid memories of stepping on those little hard plastic bricks in the middle of the night with my bare feet. Whew, that's fun. Definitely not a fun experience. But be that as it may, when Kevin was around Landry's age, I remember questioning him as to what magic kept the Legos together. That's when he carefully explained to me how Legos work. He held up a block so that I could see it, and he pointed to the little nubs on the top. He said, "See, Dad, it's like this. These nubs connect it to the other blocks. The more nubs it has, the more you can connect it to other blocks. The bigger the block, the more nubs, and the more you can do with it." So, being me, I asked him if there were blocks without nubs, and he looked at me as if I were completely stupid. He said, "Of course not, Dad. A block without nubs is useless." Then he smiled and told me that a Lego without nubs would be called a Nogo. Or so I just thought it was funny. So these little nubs, by the way, are called connect points on the official website, and they're the foundation upon which Legos work. I think in many ways we're like Lego bricks. We only have so many connect points, and if we're not careful, we fill them up and fail to connect with others who need and crave connection. Not too long ago, I read a book called Sticky Church by a pastor named Larry Osborne, where he made a similar analogy. He writes, "We all have a limited number of connectors. Introverts have a few, some extroverts have dozens, but either way, once they're full, they're full. And when that happens, we tend to be friendly, but not really connect." He goes on to say that this tends to be a problem in many churches to making new people feel welcome and connected. New people enter a church quickly discover what they see as cliques in the church, people with long-standing connections to others. He goes on to say in his book, the reality is it's not so much a church full of cliques, C-L-I-Q-U-E-S, as it is a church full of people whose connectors are already full. Obviously, this can be a huge problem when it comes to assimilating new people into a small group or even a congregation. New people, by definition, have lots of empty connectors. They usually share this with other new people as a very strong desire to get connected. I agree with him. However, I disagree that you can't grow new connectors. As I've said for many years, the problem with most churches is twofold. The first is we have to get new people to come to church, obviously. But secondly, we need to make real loving connections with them. If they weren't craving connections, then they most likely would have never come in the first place. Speaking from experience, I can tell you that even the most introverted people crave connection. As a church, we need to not just make surface connections, but rather continuing substantial connections when people come to church. We need to make them feel a part of this building that we call the church. We can do this in a myriad of ways, but all of them start with our willingness as Christians to grow and develop more connect points. We need to invest the time and energy to try to connect with others while establishing a firm connection to our established relationships in our church. And it does require effort on our part. It's not something that just happens, but rather is something we have to work on. You can tell when a Lego block is firmly connected to another Lego block because you hear a click when it happens. I hate to say this, but we need to hear more clicks in our church. The Apostle Paul reminds us in Ephesians 2:19, consequently, you are no longer foreigners and strangers, but fellow citizens with God's people, and also members of his household, built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, which Jesus himself as chief cornerstone. In him, the whole building is joined together and rises to become a holy temple to the Lord. And in him, you too are being built together to become a dwelling in which God lives by his Spirit. We need to assess whether we're opening up enough space for others to feel connected to our lives. If we do not open up time and relational space for others, then we will not be available for new people to make connections with us. Our Lego pieces will remain full, and our new people will never be able to connect with us. See, God is building up his people by joining people together in meaningful relationships. God's love and grace flows through real people in real relationships. Our role is to discern what we need to do to be open to those God-given connections with others. So this morning, let's assess how we're connecting to others in the church, both those we have known for a long time and those to whom we have only made a surface connection. I mean, come on, guys. We're building the church of God. Let's hear a few nice, firm clicks of solid, loving, substantial connection. I hope you make today a terrific day. I want you to know that I'm here if you need me, and I love you all.